is that if you start to hear anything like a knocking sound, it's probably my cats throwing themselves into a box outside of my office door. They have decided that that is where the boxes are. So, who am I to tell them no? Okay. Well, let's get this going. Okay. Yeah. There we go. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Good evening. Aiden will be here soon. I will also do this. Oh, excuse me. It's weird not having my um air conditioner on in the background. It's like I have no noise other than my computer, and it like slightly makes me, a little anxious because I my house is very quiet without anything going on in the background. Just like many spaces, to be fair, when there is nothing going on, it's incredibly quiet. But for me, stuff like that like wakes me up in the night and everything. In fact, I had a power outage 2 nights ago, and it was like it was 12:38. I remember specifically because I got up and I was like, "What the fuck? What is going on?" And then like nothing was working. And I went, "Oh, my fan isn't going. I'm getting warm too." And then I my lights all turned on because when you have lights on all the time that have like the voice activation thing, when the power goes out, they just turn on. It's crazy. So I just got bright lights in my face after that. Um, that was fun. Hello, Timothy. You are not late. Good to see you. Um, but yeah, so apparently that day as well, power didn't come back on until about, well, so it came on intermittently. It was interesting. Um, it came on and then it went off, and then at 3, I think, in the morning, it was 3 something. Actually, I think it was 3:30. Um, it came back on, and I shut off the light in my bedroom and everything, but I forgot that like my entire house has those kinds of lights, so I didn't shut any of them off. So for like 2, 3 hours, um, every light in my house was on, and I had no idea. That was fun. I'm sure that my neighbors were very confused if any of them woke up before me. But that's to be fair, not many people wake up before me around me, which is interesting. Um, well, just make sure I have this. There we go. But yeah, um, if I don't have power in my house, it gets too warm. I get too warm because I need a fan on me. I need it to be cold, otherwise I'm too warm. But I need blankets, So, because if I don't have blankets, I can't sleep. So I need to be just cold enough that I get warm and toasty instead of dying. Glad your lights are back. Thank you. Me too. Well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Table Talk Discussion and Discourse. I, as always, am your host, Alejo, aka Grade on 95. Aiden should be joining us soon. I do not know if Boo will or not. It is an off week for us from doing vampire, so I don't know. We didn't have any conversation beforehand. Hello, Chara. Something wicked this way comes, indeed. Indeed. Um, but yes, so tonight we're going to be talking about a couple of things, a couple of videos, if you will. Um, Hopefully Boo can get here by the second one at least, because I think that was one that he had actually chosen as a topic of conversation. So we shall see. We shall see. So what rules do we need? That's a good question. In fact, we're going to be talking about that today, as you have read the title, of course, as most people do, when you click on a video. The first video we're going to be covering today is called "What Rules Do We Really Need?" and it's from Bandit's Keep. Bandit's Keep is kind of that middle ground, pretty chill, more OSR guy, but like the most chill OSR person you've ever met, um, which is interesting to me. Um, and I'm interested as well to see what the arguments might be because the and I don't think I can get you the thumbnail. Hold on. But the thumbnail for this video was talking about morale, which was interesting. Thumbnail viewer. YouTube. Yes. That's what I want. Oh, that's not it. I do forget that there are things like this. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. So, hold on. Ugh. Oh, it's so bright. Ah, it's on a fucking That's the thing. It's like morale check. So that was the thumbnail, and that of course intrigues me because a thumbnail should intrigue you. Of course, it should draw you in. And talking about morale checks is a good topic of conversation, right? Um, on the topic of best nemesis. Hi guys, hello already. This could be any rule. It seems interesting. Yeah. Um, we will see. We will see because I'm assuming that this is going to go for which ones are essential, in order to continue to play these types of games, or at least which ones might be argued to be essential, or which ones might be argued that we need to implement. You know, because morale checks are one of those rules that some people think are necessary and some people think are more a feel as you go kind of thing, which I am fine with either way. But more often than not, I'm very much a feel, like, see how it would feel for the situation, because most things that would have morale of some sort um would feel that they need to keep themselves alive. And once they take enough damage in some way or another, or if they are threatened by a situation that they find themselves unable to overcome, well, most creatures would, at least if they have any self-preservation, would probably leave. They'd probably get out of there more often than not. Um, but it's not a required rule, you know? And you don't have to necessarily play a game in a way that things are required to run away or required not to. Either way is fine, you know? Um, but again, the morale system is in some games because um they have found a way for it to work. So I'm not opposed to there being a morale system in a game. Hello, entropy. Indeed. Um, but regardless, we will see. We will see. I'm waffling a little bit because I want to give Aiden enough time to get here. Um, if he is going to get here. To be fair, I don't know. I don't know, but um, you know, I like to have the cast when I can. Obviously, um, we'll see. What if they clickbaited it? Well then I'll be sad. But Bandits Keep seems very good about these things, right? They seem very good about keeping on topic and talking about the topic that they have put in their thumbnails and in their titles. So I don't believe that Bandit Keep is why is that there? I don't believe that that actually wasn't intentional. Like I don't know why the promo was still there. Um the I mean I'll address this is still a thing. It's still valid. Anyway, Bandits Keep has been pretty good with their videos. So I'm not going to assume for clickbait because usually we at least talk about something interesting or at least we hear something that's interesting. So um those three took all the good intros, so I'm just here now. Well, hello Shin, welcome. Um so I suppose no more waffles. I will just give you the entree, I suppose. Let us get into this. So, what rules do we really need? And this is again Bandits Keep. Link in the description.
Hello.
Oh my goodness, hello. How are you?
How do I sound?
You sound slightly quiet, but that's not that bad.
Okay, how about now?
You still sound the same.
I guess I will just increase or increase the volume in my speech. Okay.
Okay.
Give me a second.
Yeah.
Just see if I can find my gain.
This isn't doing this properly. Well, it's a good thing that you're doing this because my input is not set correctly. Hang on. Okay, that's the wrong. Why is it on that input? What the fuck? Hold on, hold
I'm
on.
also coming in on a new PC.
Ah.
So like mic is unchanged.
Hmm.
I'm hoping that's not affecting anything.
I have a bad feeling that no, it's not you. It's my end. I have a bad feeling that I do not have this set up. I had to reinstall Voice Meter because which one is this one? Because yeah, that should be this. Why is it not? What the fuck? Okay, that's very strange. You should be this, and you should be. I just copy. I just. Okay. Um, I had to reinstall this because my um my Windows was like, hey, you. Let me put you actually into this. Okay, would you speak for me, please? See, now you're coming through there, but not through here. That's interesting. No, not that. Hold on. What do I have not set up? Because it was just set up fine before. This is this. So I can hear you again. People can hear you again, I think. I hope. Can everybody hear Aiden?
Just processing. Discourse.
Is it this? Yeah, you hear him? Okay. Yay, audio issues because you're not getting split onto the right track. That is my issue. What's this? Voice meter, aux. Okay. In which case, do I just switch you properties to the aux? Yeah, this one. And then I switch this property. This one's doing line 1, which is correct, I think. Oh, Jesus. Ah, jeez.
Ah, jeez,
Ah,
Louise.
God. Ah, jeez. Alright, if I put you properties to uh, it would be this one, I think. Or wait, no, that's the wrong. Ah, jeez. Welcome to, we've done this for nearly 6 years, and I still don't know how to do anything.
Has it been that long?
Yeah, we're getting close to going to year 7. It's,
Oh my god, I'm so old.
I know, right? It's crazy. Why are Steam streaming speakers? Why are those here as an option that I can use? Huh? Okay. Well, regardless, apologies everybody. This one's gonna be weird. In terms of audio. Uh, my bad, I guess. How you doing there, man?
Doing well, playing that Battlefield 6.
Oh, how's that? How's that?
It is very fun.
Oh, good.
So far it seems to remind me more of modern CODs than the original Battlefield 3.
Interesting.
But that's just because there's now a bunch of movement tech,
Ah,
which
okay.
is like always fun to mess around with.
Yeah, hell yeah.
But yeah, so far I'm enjoying it. I'm like very low level, playing a lot of support is I believe the loadout. Yeah, support.
Nice. Okay. Um, well, I'm glad you're enjoying it, because I was hoping that it was, we were talking about it a little bit before, but I was hoping it was going to be good things. Um,
I've not gotten a chance to get in any sort of like aircraft yet.
okay. Um, oh, this is weird. Okay, well, we'll continue on, as I mess around with my
How are
settings.
you doing, my friend?
Well, thank you for asking. I am doing better. Um, I'm getting closer and closer to the end of hell, which is good because with my
Congratulations, sir.
yes, thank you. My work is implementing the thing that I have been trying to help prepare for the past 2 months, and finally it will be implemented on Monday, and we'll see how it goes. Uh-huh. Um so so I'm hoping that it isn't, catastrophic. But it is going to be
Yeah,
a thing.
very stressful to see changes you're responsible for like rolling out for sure.
Yup.
Fingers crossed for you, brother.
Thank you. Um well, I suppose let us begin. So this, as I was introducing to the people before, this is the um what rules do we really need? And this is from Bandit's Keep. Uh Interesting enough for the thumbnail with the morale check reference. Do you have any ideas on what are things that we like? And we're talking, I assume, again, I don't know yet, but I assume we're talking about things that are the the not the not the norm, but like some of these extra rules that we might be needing for games, like morale and stuff. Is there anything that you find that might be like more necessary than most, or maybe things that are unnecessary that you see occasionally?
Yeah, so I'm not typically a fan of the game trying to like force you into a particular play
Right,
style.
of course.
Um, Aside from like I can only see morale checks
Hmm.
being rolled out in a way that like is like you pass or the player or a character is punished somehow.
Sure.
I.e., to give an example, in Vampire the Masquerade, Davis in this most recent session, right?
Mm.
That's like now a permanent stain on like his humanity.
Mm.
Well, like Davis's humanity. And even though that isn't necessarily seen as being like a negative in our like campaign in our table
Sure.
because we want to like it's entertaining to see like these characters slowly succumb to the beast.
Yeah.
And like the story progression and development is very interesting because of it.
Mm.
Um that is still from an objective and mathematical like gameplay perspective like a punishment on Davis.
Technically,
And
yes.
I don't particularly know how in favor I am of a like
Oh. Mm.
um
You so you don't like so
yeah,
y-
all of this to say,
mm.
I don't see any sort of like implementation thus far. I like, and granted, of course, I've only seen WotC in D&D and now VTM
Sure.
with I forget the company.
Uh
Um
Technically this was so it depends, but at the moment it's not Modifius. Maybe yeah, I think it's Modifius now.
okay. Modifius with VTM.
Mm.
I haven't seen morale checks implemented in such a way where it's like anything
Mm.
other than pass or the player is punished. And
Okay.
I don't particularly know if I like that binary.
Now,
Um
would I would at least for vampire would the fact that you get so much that you have at your like disposal for the check itself, like the amount of times that you can succeed, especially for because we're talking about remorse checks in vampire, and those are you need a single success and that's it. You don't need multiple, you just need a single success, and it gives you as many die as you can get based off of your humanity, that is still, or sorry, your unchecked humanity, um which if you are at 7 and you have one
so
that's yeah.
So it's not about yeah, sure, it was like a statistically unfavorable roll.
Sure.
It's more so that like you are still throwing the player into a position where at best they break even.
Sure, I suppose. What do you think about sanity?
Have the same issues.
Interesting. Okay. Okay. Hmm. So
Actually, it's precisely the same
yeah,
issues.
that's what I figured.
I don't like a resource being taken away that I can't gain back. Uh
Well, sanity you can gain back more easily, but I understand what you mean.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um,
Um, but yeah, if a different morale check system were rolled out where it was like, oh, your character like changes somehow, I would actually be more okay with that.
by changes, what do you mean?
Like, I would be okay with the game telling me, hey, you should start to roleplay your character this way.
Oh, okay, I see
It's
what you're saying.
I don't like a number in a box going down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Um, so then would you be more of a fan for like the things that we usually kind of do for those kinds of morale things of just leaving it up to what it feels right to be?
Yeah, and
Hmm.
like, don't get me wrong, I absolutely, I've been thinking about how I want to have Davis sort of like process this encounter for
Hmm.
himself, when he'll process it, and like how he'll change as a character because of it.
Hmm.
And I'm super excited to roll out those
Yeah.
changes. But that's because of something that like I decided to do for Davis
And
to like show to like choose to show that.
yeah.
I don't like that a number in a box has gone down.
Well, so now there are some other factors, I guess, for that one in play of the fact of your touchstones themselves, because, or yeah, it's actually it would be your touchstone for him specifically. That violence thing is kind of the reason why I gave him that stain. Um,
Oh, absolutely, and I agree that it
mhm,
absolutely like fit. I am happy to see this stain because
mhm.
I want to see how these characters fall to like the monster within.
Right. So,
Um,
would you have liked it better if I had told you to act in a different way without a number? Is my whole thing. How do I quantify this? How do I tell you
uh,
something like that?
this is not a storyteller issue.
No,
This
no,
is
no,
a
I know.
system issue.
No, 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 I know, but I'm as a storyteller, I'm utilizing the system, right? So like what I'm saying is if it wasn't there, how should I and like I know that we can like I would be able to just say, "All right, dude, you act how you want to feel about this, sure." Because I know that you will. But like is there a point where we need that so that I could then say yes, or I could then say that this is something that should affect you rather than having it something that you
So,
could just tell me it wouldn't affect you at all?
so what it sounds like you're
Yeah.
asking me is what is a system to do to try to tell the player, hey, you should be playing your character differently, if not in this manner.
Yeah, I guess.
uh to which I don't really have an answer for that.
That's fair.
um but like we come again to my, I would love to see options other than this binary. I'm sure some smart
Sure.
person can figure it out somewhere.
Sure, 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 sure. Okay. Yeah, I just figured we'd talk about it a little bit. Um,
Yeah, yeah, that's yeah, that's kind of how I come down on it.
yeah, 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 for sure. Um, anyway, but yeah, so with something like the morale system, I think it would be too rigid. With something like what we have, at least what we've experienced so far in Vampire, I feel like it all kind of fits. But then again, I mean, that's my take on it because with a morale thing, it usually is just that. Uh, and I find it better that we go. Yeah, this is probably what would happen in this situation if this character were, um, having a bad time in some way or another, right? Um, Usually that it works better for me in that kind of respect. Um, but we will see what we have here. So, oh, a few things. Haven't had your coffee yet, just got up. Well, fair enough, dude. I had my coffee this morning, and then another thing, and then three other things that were micro doses of caffeine. So I'm also not awake. Um, End of Hell.
By the way, Alejo,
Yeah.
I have tried that link for the chat that you've given me like 3 times, and I cannot get it to work.
Because there is, if you look at it, there is a fatal flaw. There is not a dot. There you go. Now it should work. I forgot a single period.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Um,
Hello, everyone.
let's see. Um, do you think alignment will show up in the video? Actually, is alignment even a rule? So, it's less of a rule and more of a guideline, but there are some things that utilize alignment in a way that would make it a rule that you do need to have in certain instances. Um, Now, whether or not it'll come up, I don't know. But what I would say is that if you do have something that is based off of alignment, like what used to be the good and evil um, weapons and such, the things that could only be attuned to people of certain alignments, well, then it kind of is a rule at some point that this has to be followed, at least to a point. Um, but again, with the way that alignment is, I wouldn't like the only times where it would ever come up is for those specific things. But like the whole you do like one bad thing and your alignment goes into the shit, it's like I don't know about that, you know, all of that kind of stuff. If you just continuously be evil, yeah, sure, okay. I'll probably say, yeah, man, you're probably not like able to utilize these good aligned weapons anymore, you know. Um, but I don't know. It really just depends. Um, this will probably be the last night all of us can show up at the same time, so apologies in advance if the little peanut gallery gets a little nutty. Oh, yeah, you're good. That's fine. All right, let us begin.
Welcome to Minutes Keep. I'm Daniel.
Hi, Daniel.
So this week I want to talk a little bit about a rule for everything, which is a note I made for myself. And, you know, a lot of times when I'm making these videos, I'll come up with kind of an idea, something will trigger it, and then I'll make some bullet points underneath it. And then eventually, when I sit down to record, I will, I guess, riff on it, if you will. And this time I don't have much written because this was really inspired by a very singular event. And I thought that it would be interesting to dig into it a bit, and we'll see where it goes. And that event was, I was sitting with my partner, and somebody, I think we were watching a video or we read something, and they were talking about morale in games and how it works and different techniques to do it and this and that. And she said to me, do you really need a rule for that? Can't you just kind of do what makes sense in the story? And she's a great GM by her own measure. And, you know, I looked and I said, you know, I don't know. There is an argument to be said that you don't, right?
Yes.
If you are playing the world, playing it in a way that makes sense, and your enemies are acting in a way that makes sense, you can never rely on the players to make sense. But kidding, of course. But then at some point, right, they would retreat or they would find cover or they would use tactics. However, if you are new to gaming or you don't understand the idea of kind of a more open rule set where you can do things that are outside the rules, right? There's two kinds of people, you know, ones that say if it's in the rule book, ones that say if it's not in the rule book, you can't do it. And ones that say if it's not in the rule book, you can do it, right? And it depends on where you fall on that. Some of that comes from experience. That is to say that if you've run a bunch of games that have morale systems, you can kind of figure, okay, there's not one written in this game system, but I can use my experience with other games to know when to roll the dice or what dice to roll.
Well, so, and I know we just kind of let him go for a couple of minutes there, which he's got some good stuff so far.
You could,
but the only thing to say really is just you don't even need that. You don't need to worry about the dice at all at that point. Like with your experience, obviously, if you've never encountered a morale system, because I'll be honest, the only time where I remember even reading morale as like a thing was in the Warhammer TTRPG for like Only War, I want to say. The one where you're all imp guard, and it's like, well, yeah, you're a guy
Uh,
going against
yeah.
horrors, you know.
What is an imp guard?
An imperial guard.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
Yes. So it's just like, yeah, you're just like a normal human guy going out off against like all of this shit. There's probably going to be something in there to make you react worse when something is directly affecting your morale in some way. But at the same time, it's just like, well, you could just think about it for like a second, because I'm pretty sure we can all just go, yeah, in this situation, I don't know, I feel like this kind of person could potentially act in this way.
Oh no. Please
Well,
continue.
I was just gonna say, like, if somebody is like a war veteran, they probably won't react as shocked to like dead bodies and stuff, which is why if there's ever something in like a Call of Cthulhu or any of these kinds of games where they're like, hey, has your guy ever served in the war? It's like, well, yeah. And then they're like, okay, so this probably wouldn't actually fuck you up that much because you've seen worse, you know? And it's like, yeah, okay, stuff like that. And it same thing in morale. It's like in the fight, if you see a guy just get completely blown apart right next to you, yeah, that's gonna do something to you, but maybe not like as bad, or maybe not in the moment, you know? And you can kind of push it aside for a second.
Yeah, that actually kind of brings to mind the morale slash stress system in Darkest Dungeon,
Yes.
where you can like get stressed and then go heroic, and
Yes.
then like it becomes a coin flip as to whether or not you get that positive or like negative.
Yeah, yeah.
If I could see like that rolled out in TTRPGs, I'd be totally for it.
Yeah.
Like sanity and stuff now.
I get you. Yeah.
I think that's it's the fact that because a 7 has now become a 6 in a box.
Sure.
It's not about like role play, it's like sheer numbers wise, Davis is now lesser than he was before.
Sure.
And he has become this way because of cool ass story shit
Sure.
that Aiden really likes.
Yeah.
And it feels to me like the player is slowly getting, or sorry, the character is slowly getting punished for the player like taking them throughout the story. And because like in a sense they are, right?
Sure.
As the story progresses, they get less and less whole.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, but I think it's because if you can take a purely negative situation and bring it now to a coin flip where it's like, oh, they are virtuous.
Sure. Yeah.
And maybe like that. I don't know how virtuous would look in a system like VTM, of course. Um, or like getting stressed and then something good happening because of it.
Right.
I don't understand, or I don't know of a way that like that could be implemented in that system in particular.
Yeah.
But like yeah, you get it.
Yeah. No, I get what you mean. Like it's that chance of something bad could happen, but there is that chance of it becoming a not a break, but a fuck, a relief of some sort, you know?
Yeah, a new way of coping.
Yes, exactly. Um so okay, fair enough. The especially for something like Vampire, at least, because of the way that the system is and the way that vampires are portrayed, it's that constant battle for humanity that you are probably going to lose, you know? It's that weird thing, right? And like they don't ever go into really gaining humanity aside from a little bit of it being something that might be like a full campaign's worth objective, or at least reward, that that's how you would maybe gain some. I think. I mean, it's been a hot minute since I've looked at gaining humanity, but because of that, I guess it's more that, at least for vampire, it's supposed to be that bleakness, that horror that is there, that you are just constantly going to slip, and every slip makes it, to be fair, easier to retain humanity as well as easier to lose it, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, it's that slow circling of the drain.
Exactly. And the only way out is not to play. you know? Which is like, I don't know. That's appealing to me, so I don't find it I don't find that I have any issue with it for that game specifically, because I know that, as well as for like things like Call of Cthulhu. I am absolutely fine with going out and just losing my goddamn mind that day and then just being completely unable to do anything with that character. That's fine for me. And in fact, I see it more, I guess my reasoning as to why I don't see these things as just checkboxes is because they are, or not checkboxes, but you know what I mean. Numbers going down is because it is part of that story, and I just see that grand narrative rather than the number itself, because it's just that consequence that's being played out, and that I can then play out more because I can see that consequence taking shape on my character sheet. Um, but then again, it's not like my way is the right way or anything. That's just how I view these things, so that I don't think about it like that, because I find it interesting to think about it as that, that it is just number go down, make me feel bad, with that kind of stuff. Like, it makes it like it's taking away the agency a bit, and it's like, to a degree, I understand that and I agree, but I also kind of want that, I guess, in certain ways. I don't know. It's just, that's how I look at it, right? Um, and again, not saying that that's not a valid way or anything, right? So,
Yeah, fair enough.
anyway, but the bad guy wants the good guy's sword. Well, so the bad guy can use the good guy's sword, but he can't use the special power of the goodness in the sword. Okay? That's usually what it is, right? Like, it's not that they can't use it, it's just not as good, because they're not a good guy. Some of them even like hurt the bad people, to be fair. Those old weapons can't even use it. Like, they can't even like pick it up. It's like, oh no. Just get a cloth. You'll be all right. um Bad guy sword is better. It is red. That is true. A new way of coping. Can't say no to higher grade copium. Absolutely.
It's red and it has a face built into the hilt.
Oh, it's so cool.
And when I picked it up, I knew it was a named item.
Yeah. Losing your mind is fun. Yes, I agree.
Use your knowledge from reading and watching movies about how things typically work, right? When people run, when they don't run, right? How this kind of all ties together and turn it into a narrative, that makes sense, right? There is also, and I'm definitely less in this camp, the idea of looking to see like how it's going, and if the players seem like they might all get killed, you could then be like, oh, we're going to make a morale check. At that point, I think I wouldn't do it personally, because if the enemy's winning, they're certainly not going to make a morale check, right? But, again, some people do that, and that's also fine. There's also the idea of capturing people, which, we can get them riffing. But I think that the question of whether or not you need a rule for that particular thing is an interesting one. And I started by saying a rule for everything, but the thing is that I've seen many people and talked to many people who, when they see the morale roll in BX D&D or the reaction roll, it really changes the way that they perceive the game.
Okay, I now need to know what BXD&D is.
If you would.
BXD&D. What is this? Basic / expert. Ah, the first proper edition was original or white box. Let's see. Released in 1974. expanded upon in fan magazines and correspondence. Gygax decided to formalize the system with Advanced D&D in 1977. This is what is considered 1E. While he was planning that, John Eric Holmes offered to create an introductory version of D&D with more simplified rules and faster learning curve. This version of D&D goes from levels 1 to 3 and was the basic set. Oh, Jesus Christ. Thank you, Redditor. I'm reading this off Reddit. The person is Gutterman 2010 from 5 years ago. Thank you very much for this comment. It's a lot. There's a lot here. But it's okay. He just goes into what every single thing after that is as well. Okay. So basic / expert D&D. Apparently, now this is where I now look for B / X D&D rules. Morale, actually. Uh 222. Okay, here we go. If it, yeah, hello, thank you. Okay, there we go. First, per B24 and X24, this is for I assume the B and X rule books. Not sure. I'm reading this off of Dragon's Foot forums. Monsters make morale checks after initiative is rolled. 222. Second, B27 and X26. Morale is recommended to be checked after a side's first death in combat. So they could maybe do it. Okay. So I guess BX D&D, basic and expert D&D have these morale systems in place. So that there is that ruling of, hey, now everybody needs to leave. Which, sure, I guess if you want to use it.
They hadn't thought that, hey, maybe these orcs don't want to fight. They never thought, hey, maybe this monster won't fight to the death. They just never thought of it that way. They were just like, well, you encounter orcs and their alignment is against yours, or you're somewhere where they don't want you to be. They're going to fight you, and they're going to fight to the death, and that's just the way it is. Leaving it on.
Oh, sorry. I've been misinterpreting this whole time. So these aren't alignment checks; these are morale checks
Yeah.
as to whether or not enemies continue in battle. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've been kind of distracted because of the Battlefield 6.
Fair.
Yeah, no, morale checks for combat are super cool. I really think they're neat. And it makes sense that any character that has a degree of intelligence would like weigh their options.
Yeah, for sure.
I believe as a DM, it kind of comes down to a personal touch as to whether or not, like, when or even if you decide to have your players make morale checks. I don't know. Has he laid out any math for
Not yet.
like in these situations? Okay. Yeah, I don't know any good ways to recommend rolling out morale checks to DMs out there. I
Yeah.
just think it kind of comes down to a personal touch, and I would let DMs discover for themselves how often they want to or don't want to use morale checks with like telling the player like, hey, do a morale check, and then if they fail, be like, the DM should never like take control away from the player, of course, but like I am not opposed to a DM asking a player, "Hey, make a morale check," and then if the player fails, be like, "Hey, uh, running seems like a good idea to character name."
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah, I would just never take control away from the player, though.
Yeah. I guess I'm of two minds about it, just because I personally don't like the idea of me saying, "Hey, make a morale check for the characters," because I would rather them, like, and this is hoping that I've already informed them that running away is fine and that they understand that. Now again, if they don't run away, they don't run away. That's up to them. That's fine. If they want to make personal morale checks, because I know we do it all the time of like, hey, I'm gonna make a personal check for this just to see if something, and like I'm always just like, yeah, absolutely, fucking go for it, dude. You want to try to decide something and use the dice to do that on your own? That's fine. I don't care. Um, but like me calling for it, the only times where I would do that is if it is for that mechanical purpose of something like sanity, I guess. Because that's just something that you can't control necessarily, of a reaction to something that you are not accustomed to and that is like against your frame of reference for how the world works. But with something like this and like morale, yeah, the battlefield and stuff is crazy, and you might not be totally equipped to be on that battlefield, but to a degree, at least in something like D&D, the assumption is that the characters are at least somewhat knowledgeable and somewhat desensitized to these situations to a degree, right? And so I would go, yeah, this is crazy, dude. This is going like, whoa, man, you guys are in trouble. That's crazy. It's like if they decide at that point, yeah, we should get out of here. Yeah, sure, that's fine.
Yeah. Because, like, I think that allowing the space for a DM saying, hey, I can call for a morale check
Sure,
is giving the DM, like, sort of an out for, like, if there's, like, an encounter where the players are, like, surely going to lose
sure,
and it's looking like it's going to be a TPK,
sure.
if the encounter goes through, I believe in like uh GMs having like, hey, uh basically tell the players, hey, like this ain't it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's that same thing that I still have of like, if you've signposted it enough and given enough like contextual clues in general of just like, yeah, this is gonna be fucking bad, dude. If you go here now, you need to get this talisman. Like that they're making it so that it's like, yeah, you can go and do it, sure, whatever, do whatever you want. But I'm trying to give you like a less direct thing of saying maybe you don't want to go against this thing right now, and at that point, if they ignore me, well, sure, maybe it'll go fine. But if it doesn't in my book, like they made their choice and I'm not going to take that away from them, you know? Um, and it feels more like I would take it away from them if I go, hey, morale check, you know? Because their character in the moment is like, maybe they're terrified, maybe, I don't know, or maybe they still think they can do it. I don't know, but I feel like I am then influencing the character in that way, in a way that doesn't feel good to me, right?
Uh I I guess I see uh how to put this.
Hmm,
Morale checks for non-player characters,
that's fine.
whereas like if they fail then their behavior is
Yeah,
changed, feel to me completely separate and alien from like player morale checks, because I divorce any expectation of like a pass or a fail affecting behavior, and instead purely think of it as the DM communicating to the player. Like, if a player fails a morale check in
sure.
my game, they are 100% allowed to like wade into the thick of the battle, and I'll never say another word about it because I have communicated to them as a
So,
DM, like
yeah.
that this is my how to put this. Morale checks are how I like give out of game knowledge to my players.
So, okay. I guess I understand that, but at the same time I'm personally like, I don't know, with that kind of like, I'm like I was saying, I'm trying to signpost it without going that far, of making it just a mechanical
Some
thing, you know?
yeah. Um I think that some people need a heavier hand.
Ah, I don't know. It's one of those things where you have a group of people, and maybe some people do, maybe some people don't, but it is a group decision at some points, you know, for some of these things, and it's like, I don't know. I guess it is just one of those things where, for me, I would rather say that they should be able to figure it out on their own with enough like clues and
Uh
such.
if I may,
Yeah,
um when I like turn to a player and out loud say, like, I just pick a player
sure,
and I say make a morale check, everyone at the table perks up. And then
sure.
the idea enters into everyone's mind. And then, like, even the person who didn't make the morale check can still be the one to voice the idea of, hey guys, you know what, maybe let's not.
Yeah, sure, I guess, but like I don't know, for it's that kind of thing for me. It just doesn't feel right, I guess. I don't know, and that's just me, I guess, cuz it's just like,
Hey,
for if it was me that was picked for that, I'd be like, but why? Have I not
that's fair.
communicated how my character is feeling in the moment? And like in this fight, is my character not acting in the way that would coincide with those feelings? Like I don't know,
Yeah.
you know?
That's why I recommend don't just like pick a player at random. I try to pick someone who it feels like it may
Sure,
like, if anyone were to have a morale check moment, it would be this character.
sure.
But like I kind of think this just comes down to like the thing I mentioned earlier of like um each DM and how they choose to use this
Yeah.
mechanic. Like you'll find as many approaches as you do
Mm,
DMs.
mm, mm. I agree. I agree. Hello, Pizza Funk. Um, yeah, I don't know, but let's continue.
The player characters or the players to have their characters retreat if need be. The thing is, and we've talked about this before, if you're working with players who oftentimes are newer, but also players who are just new to your table, they might not know or trust that you will allow that to happen. That is, allow that to happen if it makes sense for it to happen. If you are playing at a table where, let's say, there is no rule specifically for cover, and you're standing by a bunch of boulders and goblins are coming at you on wolves shooting bows, and you say, I want to go behind the boulder, and the GM just goes, okay, fine, and rolls the dice exactly the same, and that did nothing, that will then teach you as a player it's not worth trying to be creative, because if it's not a rule for it, they're not going to let me use it. On the other hand, they might be overly cautious about, well, those boulders aren't exactly the right size or this many movements or whatever. And again, this is also fine. I mean, to a certain extent, as long as I'm kind of playing it out as if it's bad, but it can be good to follow and be tightly tied to rules. Again, when you're new and you're kind of feeling your way in, it can be that fine that way later too if you are playing rule sets that, let's say, are more balanced. Because I would argue that you can play a lot of rule sets that have rules for things, but when you really look at them, they're kind of like, oh, who's ever going to do that? Or that's not really going to happen. Whereas,
Well, sure, but like in those cases, it's just there just in case, you know. I don't know, for like something like third, 3.5, it has like 30 million rules, and because I don't know all of them, I at least know that if I look through it, I might find something for something, you know. I don't know. It probably won't come up, but it's nice to have, as a fallback. Mm,
In a rule set where it's really balanced, you might actually do it. So, boy, it really went sideways there. Let's get back to morale. So let's say that you are someone who has never played with the game that had morale, or never read the fiction where people run, or never thought of it that way. Maybe you're used to playing certain types of games where, I don't know, like a side scroller video game where the monsters just keep coming and you just kill them and you keep going and then nobody ever runs away. Maybe there's some that they run away. You just wouldn't think that that would be the way. So is that rule necessary? Not really, in the sense that whatever dice you roll or whatever mechanic is there isn't necessarily necessary to solve that situation.
Mm.
What is necessary is that the players and the dungeon master or referee know that those kind of things can be there, right? This is where games can be tricky. There's a few games, and I'm not going to name any without digging through them to make sure, but I've definitely played games in the past and then had conversations with people after, and they say, oh, I tried to play that game, but it's missing a lot of rules on things. And I think to myself, is it? And they're like, yeah, it doesn't have this rule and that rule and this rule. And I'm thinking, it doesn't? Because, again, I've played games that had those rules. So probably I looked at it and went, I can't find the rules for morale. I'm just going to use the rules I know. So
yeah, that is something else to just consider, I guess, most of the time, is whenever you're playing any type of TTRPG in any system, if it works and it's from something else, it will probably sometimes work in the game that you're playing. Like, we cannibalize things from other things all the time.
Yeah, the problem that all like TTRPG players get as they become more and more experienced with like different types of systems is the carryover and the bastardization
Yes.
that occurs.
Yeah. And it's a good thing, I think. Honestly, it's a good thing to have.
Absolutely.
I think that the more we play, the more systems we absorb, the more set we become in our style of running the game, the less we need rules because we can use the ones that we already kind of have, right? And because of that, it becomes easier to run a very, very simple game. You can pretty easily decide how things go. Like I was thinking about it the other day, when you look at original Dungeons and Dragons without chainmail, because I'm using chainmail, in chainmail there is an initiative system, like how you roll initiative, how the order of action goes. In original Dungeons and Dragons, there's not. It says for combat use chainmail, right? So I'm assuming that they're referring to the initiative system. If you didn't have chainmail and you just had Dungeons and Dragons and you had never played anything before, how would you handle it? Would you just stand there staring at each other? Or would you figure it out? And how satisfying would that be? Is really the question. My guess, and I was not there, is that people that were used to playing things like war games or games where people went in turns probably used one of those systems. Oh, in this game, we each roll a die, and whoever rolls highest goes first. Oh, in this game, it's always the person that's attacking goes first. In this game, it's always the person that lost, the initial die roll. So the first roll, it goes to, one person, the die roll, and after that, it goes to the other, then it goes back and forth. You go, I go. And maybe that is how the system works for you. And you kind of could make that up because you have experience. Because most of us have played some games, right? So, I think with a rule like this, it is important. I think the knowledge that enemies will not necessarily fight to the death, the knowledge that everything you meet isn't necessarily an enemy, delivered as a rule or delivered in some other way, is important.
See, now that is something that I can super get behind, because having that be there as knowledge is something that will change how you perceive the game.
Sorry, what did he say?
So he's talking about how he thinks that having a morale rule is important because of its existence, basically. Knowing that it's there means that not every combatant will fight to the death necessarily. It means that not every combatant is necessarily an enemy. Like, there is just this thing now that you now know that people can have morale, which means that they
That is true.
yeah, and I think that's absolutely valuable. That's a way better way for me to look at a morale rule and say, yeah, we absolutely need this, so that it colors the perception of how combat works.
It also like once your players become aware that like you can also that you as the DM are doing things to tweak the morale system too, like so for instance each character has the morale check when they get to like 50% or whatever.
Yeah.
But you could also do like if they're pack animals like wolves, if you kill the alpha, then no matter what health percentage the wolves in the pack are,
Yep.
they roll a morale check.
Yeah.
So like the alpha becomes kind of a target.
Yeah. Absolutely. Which that just as long as it's again, it's that thing of I like, and I don't think you necessarily need a rule, like an actual hard and set rule for morale in that case. It's just having it be something that people can look into and read about, and then you give some examples of what someone might do. It's not you always need to roll this at this point. It's the examples are Timmy is running his game. Little Timmy decides that when your enemy is at 70% health, they now need to make a morale check. And it's this difficulty. And when they get to 50%, it's this difficulty. And then over here you get, but Samantha thinks, actually, whatever feels right is probably the time when they should think about making morale. So then she'll make a morale check over here when it seems like they're getting surrounded, or all this kind of stuff. And then it's like and then Joseph over here just thinks, we don't even need dice for this, we can just do it whenever it would make sense in the story for them to maybe run away at this point. It's like, just have that be just a section in like any combat fucking game, and then you just have people thinking, oh, okay, I could run it like this, or maybe like this. And then somebody else thinks outside of that box and says, actually, I'm going to run it with playing cards. And if I make a hand, like in poker, then that means that they'll keep fighting. But if I, if I get just two of a kind, well, they're probably going to get out of here, because that's not probably going to win. It's like, I don't know, something like that, just to make it so that people are aware that not everything is your I'm stuck in the Final Fantasy screen, everybody's rocking back and forth, and then we attack, they attack, we attack, they attack, and then somebody dies at some point, yes, I used your name, I just realized, Timothy. Hello. They actually said something else, used something else in the book itself. That's funny as hell. Well, so D&D was based off of, that game, Chainmail. So they assumed that if you had Chainmail, you would have gotten D&D, or other way around. If you had gotten D&D, you would have had Chainmail, because that was the market at that point. I'm glad Scrooge decided to pay Mr. Cratchit more so little Timmy could afford to run D&D. Yes. It is good.
To learning how to play a game like this, to get a certain style of play. If you don't have those things, and you never were connected to them, you were never shown them, the game system that you're going to play probably needs it, because you need to be shown that. If you've played lots and lots of games like I have, you could have a very simple system where it's literally like, hey, everybody just rolls a die, and whoever has the highest roll wins the combat, and everything else is done based on how the world operates. And you could just, improvise and add extra rules based on your experience. So are those rulings? That's another conversation, right? So let me know what you think. Were you first shown the morale rules like after you had been playing, let's say, 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, or one of the other games that maybe doesn't have it? Or is it something that you already knew, so it wasn't really a factor? Did you start with it like I did? I started with BX, there was morale in it. Let me know. I'm curious, because I think that this kind of thing is important. right? The kind of, when we discuss something and we make a statement, is something necessary? Is something not necessary? Almost always, as unsatisfying as it might seem, the answer is, it depends.
Yeah, that's true. Most everything is honestly answered by that statement. It depends. Well, thank you, Daniel from Bandit's Cape. As usual, you've made an excellent video. It's a good thought.
I was just thinking about that, like, quick video.
Yeah, very quick, very quick. But we were talking about a bunch of stuff, which was good. Promoted that discussion, that discourse.
Yes.
Yeah, I think something else that he brought up, which was just experience in general. I think that is something that does. It's something that I don't take into account for my own head, I guess, a lot of the time, because I only play with people that are experienced in these games, or at least in TTRPGs in general. I don't play with anybody who's newer, and I don't play with anybody who doesn't think about these games really anymore. So I find myself not thinking about these kinds of specifics that might be more useful to those kinds of people, unless it's brought up in these kinds of videos, honestly. Because that whole, having the rule there to change the perception of it, like, I find that incredibly valuable, mostly just because you don't, at least it seems like there's an epidemic of people that don't understand that combat can be not to the death, I guess. But that's only because we see these videos all the time of people just saying that that's the case. So I don't know. But I would hope it's not. So I'm blind to my own experience, I guess, is what I mean. But yeah, so rules. They're crazy, huh? Well, let's move on to the next video. The next video is actually one that Boo had brought up in our suggestion box. Unfortunate if he doesn't come in for this, but we're going to check it out anyway. So this
You ever spent
is... This is Sensei Suplex, channel I've never heard of before, saying, I use the Nemesis system to make the best D&D villains.
Yo, this sounds super cool.
Yeah, I was interested when Boo put this up a while back, and the Nemesis system is pretty sick, if those of you don't know, and I don't know if he's going to explain it in the video, but in, Shadows of Mordor?
Shadow of Mordor
Shadow
and
of
Shadow
Mordor.
of War.
Yeah, Shadow of War as well. Lord of the Rings game, for those of you who haven't looked into it. Very good. I remember when Shadow of Mordor came out and the guy who made the Assassin's Creed 2 climbing animation said, I don't remember when I made this game, because it was pretty much the same climbing animation. And I went, that's funny. Anyway, this game is pretty good. The game centers around you going through Mordor, and there are these Uruk captains as well, who you can fight, and they can get away, and you can let them get away, and they can become your nemesis. And there's a pretty famous video that I remember, at least, of this one captain who just kept showing up for this one guy, and he kept showing up, and then just became a sniveling wretch every time he lost, because he was so broken, because he kept losing.
Oh yeah, are you talking about the one that like lost the ability to even speak?
Yes, it was so good. It was so great. But implementing that as something in D&D sounds incredibly interesting, because having a reoccurring villain is a nice little, motif that you can put inside your games, right? Getting them to be able to get away, now that's something that takes planning on the Nemeses parts technically, because Nemeses is the plural. But yeah, so you have to make it so that your villain is, I guess, intelligent enough to create these outs that would make sense, but also not do them so often that it would make the players hate it. Because if they keep encountering it over and over again, it might slowly lose its magic, right? So, I'm interested to see what we have here. So, Sensei Suplex, please give us a show.
You ever spend hours crafting a
The Nemesis system should be in more games. Yes. God, yes. I need everything to just steal it. I don't care. It's great.
villain that your players just didn't care about? Like, seriously, you built the lore, you create the epic encounters, but your players online are just still doom scrolling TikTok. Yeah, that was me too, and I'm got sick of it. I'm gonna be real. So
why do you no longer have the text at the bottom of the screen? You had it there for 5 seconds, and then you just stopped using it. Why?
So, if your players don't lock in when you introduce your villains, stick around because I've got the perfect solution to make your players obsess over your villains, even if you're terrible at storytelling. Actually, especially if you're terrible at storytelling. You see, my name is Sensei Suplex, and I'm a professional dungeon master who, over the past 7 years, run about 4 games a weekly D&D for a living. I do this full time, and I'm building a giant MMORPG universe where players can drop into high-stakes, story-connected sessions without scheduling headaches and dozens of DMs wanting players just like you. But let's talk villains. See, years ago, I made Emperor Zhao, literally one of the MMO universe's most hated villains ever. I had dozens of different players despise this guy across multiple groups that spanned over years. So naturally, I tried bringing him into my latest game, but I ran into a wall. Zhao was level 17 to 20, and my players, well, barely level 2 and 3. So I thought about using another villain, this old king from a campaign 7 years ago. But let's be honest, nobody even remembered him, and I had to kind of build this villain from scratch. Keep him alive for multiple sessions, and somehow make sure that the players actually hate him. And here's the kicker. I wasn't even good at long-term storytelling. See, my improv-heavy, rule of cool DMing style, while fun, really sabotages my storytelling. My plots often lack depth, and my players typically aren't that emotionally involved enough to stay engaged. Players were losing interest, my session attendance was dropping, and I was honestly jealous of other amazing Project Aurora DMs out there who were able to keep their tables hooked. Then I realized something big. Maybe, epic backstories weren't the solution. Maybe cool visuals and epic personalities actually weren't the move. Maybe player investment was rooted in something simpler, something deeper, their backstories. See, that's what every other YouTuber would say. But you see, my name is Sensei Suplex and I'm a certified dumbass. The real answer...
Okay. Now it's very interesting to already go into that and say that everybody else is going to say that, but I have something different because usually I find that the investment is in that kind of thing, but I guess I don't know if that's always the case just because with, or at least from experience now with what we've been doing in Vampire, yeah, it's kind of with the backstories and stuff, but honestly, not a lot of that has come up, and I've not found that it's been strictly necessary, though again, I do, kind of run loose with this, because, like, if you guys want to involve more of your backgrounds and such, you absolutely can in every way, right? And I kind of facilitate that, but I don't necessarily like go into the background to pull things out, or at least I haven't been so far. Which I will admit. But yeah, I don't know. It is one of those things where, at least for something like D&D, that is usually the general instructions, I guess, is, hey, your player's got a backstory, use it, and that will get them interested. And I mean, it's tried and true, I think. I haven't seen anything where somebody that gets their, great-grandfather pulled into their character's backstory, their character's great-grandfather, sorry, not their own, gets pulled into the game, who's now the head of the whatever organization that they're now working with, and it's like, oh my god, I never knew. They actually like super like that usually. So I don't know. But I'm interested, I suppose.
Answer is pettiness. Yeah, you heard me. Pettiness and a sprinkle of spite. That's when inspiration struck, drawn directly from one of gaming's most petty companies, gaming's best systems ever.
True, they are petty. Thanks, Warner Brothers. Good job.
I'm not disagreeing, but what's the cause of this heat?
That they, I don't know what his
Like,
specific.
are they overly litigious?
I think so. I'm pretty sure, if I remember right. Hold on. It's been a hot minute. Eh. Where is it? Okay, well, if I search that, it gives me like 30 things that I don't want. So, all right, never mind. I don't have any specific examples at the moment, but from at least from some of the games that I have seen being put out, it seems like, well, it's not that Warner Brothers. I guess it's not Warner Brothers specifically, but the developers that they seem to hire, seem to be quite petty about things. So maybe it's not just Warner Brothers. Maybe it's more the developers. But anyway, I don't know. Let's see if there's... Well, he can't because he's making the joke. Shit.
In Shadow of War's Nemesis system. And that's how...
Oh, Shadow of War specifically. Oh, interesting. Okay. I don't know if there's a difference, but I guess we'll see.
Rising Rivals and Ascending Ally system was born. You see, anytime an enemy downed a player and got away, they became a rival, stealing abilities from the characters that they defeated. Players instantly got invested, motivated purely by revenge. This turned my biggest DMing weakness into one of my greatest storytelling strengths. So here's the story of exactly how it changed my game forever. And hey, if this type of gameplay excites you, I'm not just sharing this for kicks. I run a massive living D&D universe called Project Aurora where you can actually jump in and experience this system firsthand. There's dozens of DMs, evolving storylines, and systems just like this one, changing how D&D is played forever. So if you want to play in a D&D game for the first...
It's changing it forever? Oh.
Well, I mean, I suppose because it's not like change is reversible in a system like TTRPGs. I would like to raise 2 points.
Yes, absolutely.
The first, the Nemesis system is a great way to run like a not a ghoul, a white.
Mm-hmm.
And then secondly, the Nemesis system works until your characters slurry the bodies.
Yeah, that's true as well. I guess they would also work... no. Well, depends because it could be that they then become a ghost. Ooh, I don't know. Revenants exist, so I know revenants are usually a good creature that has been wronged.
Yes, sorry, I said white. I meant revenant.
Ah, okay. Yeah. So I guess the inverse could be true. Of not a revenant, but just a fucking angry ghost.
Time or play with a different group of people into video games, anime, comics, just like you, check the link in the description and join us. Now,
just like me.
Back to the breakdown.
Oh, by the way, link will be in the description for this video, of course. I think it was 4 months ago, this video. I think. But I doubt anything has been different in the sense of them not running anything anymore or anything like that. I'm sure that it's still going. Especially if this is a professional thing. They're going to want it to keep going, so. I heard the reason for the Nemesis system is not in more things is because the copyright stops it from being used and the studio just sits on it. That might be the petty thing then. That might be it.
Oh, yeah. Actually, that is why.
Okay.
I completely forgot about that, yes.
Okay.
So, If you're trying to implement the Ascending Allies and Rising Rivals system into your game, class is in session, break out the pen and paper, and it's time to take some notes. Yeah, I know. But because throughout this entire video, I'm going to be explaining exactly how to implement it.
All right.
So you see, the system can be implemented at any game at any point within the campaign. However, I'm gonna be real, it works best if you kind of implement it at the beginning of the campaign, so you come up with lore reasons on why this is happening to begin with. And from what I've learned, it also works best with two groups of players in my experience. Either players who love storytelling and narrative because it naturally creates plot from player choices, or more combat focused groups. You see, because they enjoy tactical challenges and end up fighting versions of themselves who are buffed up. Two groups on extreme sides of the spectrum. And the cool part is, all groups in between will love aspects of it even more. So we're gonna be talking about rules light narrative focused groups versus heavy crunchy mechanical groups. So if you're running this narratively, here's what I would probably do. I would keep things simple. Just note down who downs a player and escapes, right? Note down the weapon and the feature that they take and reference it later. One thing to note is that you're not taking features from players and you're not taking weapons, you're more so duplicating them. Next point, don't just emphasize, but overemphasize the enemy's personality and grudges. Your players should instantly tell who this guy is when they see him, just like in Shadow of War. Beyond that, let them evolve naturally in status and story. But if you're running this more mechanically, that's actually what I did. Here's what I would do. So do everything the rules light people are doing and all the next stuff I'm about to say. What you're gonna do is you're going to also assign clear tiers to your enemies or your sort of faction that the players are going against. This is what I did. So I had the tier of boss, then I had captains right above bosses.
Right.
After that, I had legionnaires, then I had royal guard, and then I had the king's right hand because they were attacking the kings and his forces. Next, each escape means increased stats, so like proficiency bonus, HP, and their ability scores to affect their 2-hit modifiers and their damage. Here's what I did. I could do this on the fly because I'm just used to nerfing and buffing my encounters on the fly anyways, but for stat proficiency bonuses, I would just increase it by
It's just this, I'm now distracted by the fact that you're now putting in the, like, subtitles again. I guess you're only doing it when you're in points where people need to pay attention. Which is fine, don't get me wrong, I guess. It's just distracting, I guess, that you don't have the full thing subtitled or not. But I guess I noticed it, so it's working.
by 1. So if it was 3, then it would go to 4. For 2-hit modifiers, I'd increase that typically by 2. And for damage output, I would typically add another dice of damage. For HP, I'd add roughly 10 to 30 HP, and I would kind of play it by ear. And I would increase 2 of their highest stats by 5 each.
Whoa!
So if their dexterity was a 13, it now becomes an 18. If their constitution was a 12, then it now becomes a 17.
That's significant.
That's quite a lot!
What was he raising by 5?
2 stats, I guess, or two of their stats.
Every time they were downed?
If they escaped. So he's giving them more proficiency, he's giving them more health, he's giving them more of their stat. Now let me just take it back because I hold on. Okay.
Fly anyways, but
no, okay, hold on. Go all the way back here.
They were attacking the kings and his forces. Next, each escape means increased stats, so like proficiency bonus, HP, and their ability scores to affect their 2-hit modifiers and their damage. Here's what I did.
Okay.
I could do this on the fly because I'm just used to nerfing and buffing my encounters on the fly anyways, but for stat proficiency bonuses, I would just increase it by 1. So if it was 3, then it would go to 4. For 2-hit modifiers, I'd increase that typically by 2. And for damage output, I would typically add another dice of damage. For HP, I'd add roughly 10 to 30 HP, and I would kind of play it by ear.
Another dice of damage is fucking brutal.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy. I get, like, I don't know what type of game this is, I guess, in terms of power. But
like, oh, 1d12 into 2d12, let's go.
yeah, unless he means, like, an additional d6, you know, like... You're not.
I mean, like, yeah, that is something more like what I would do.
Right. Yeah.
Like if I want, like for instance, if I wanted a displacer beast to do like, if I had a target of like, oh, I want them to deal this much damage, I would have them deal like a d8 plus a d4 because
Exactly.
I was trying to fine tune like. Something within like 2 to 12 instead of 1 to 8.
Yeah. That I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Do something like that, sure.
Yeah.
I hope that's what he means.
And like you don't even need the Nemesis system for that.
No, absolutely not. But I mean, it's
Um,
fine.
yeah, so like I'm the rest of the video places me in a place where I'm predisposed to believe the best.
I'm hoping.
So I'm going to just say, yeah, it's probably like adding on a D4 or a D6.
Yeah.
Depending upon like where they are in the campaign.
But I do want to see about this stat boost because now I'm concerned.
Yeah, the stat boost is a little not so.
Yeah.
And I would increase 2 of their highest stats by 5 each. So
yeah, 2 of their
Okay.
highest.
Yeah, and I would increase 2 of their highest by
So-
5 each.
So I'm sorry.
So-
Okay. So are we supposed to believe that now? And we're not given pacing, I guess, yet. I hope we're given pacing soon, because if this is between like when they're there at second to third level, second to third level, and then when they get up to like 5th or 6th, and then it's like, oh, okay, now we have an encounter against this one guy, you know, like if there's enough of a time gap between in levels, maybe it's fine because it's supposed to be this recurring thing. But I don't know. Or if it's all of this stuff gradually as they continue to escape, though. But that's not what he said, so I don't know.
I think increasing instead of 2 abilities by 5 each, I would increase all of their abilities by 1.
Yeah, like one.
And then the next time they defeated them or they escaped, they get another one.
Right. Yeah, just make them better in that way,
Yeah.
sure.
Just as a way to like make them scale with the party.
Yeah. But and again, if there's a time gap between that makes sense, then sure. But I don't know. Please explain more.
their dexterity was a 13, it now becomes an 18. If their constitution was a 12, then it now becomes a 17.
True.
And again, you just kind of adjust to however you want your table balanced. I don't know exactly what works best for you, so that's going to be a decision for you.
Fair.
This is just what I did specifically. You see, when I introduced this, I thought I was a smart cookie. I'm gonna be real, y'all. Because on Foundry, it was a simple couple of stats I could change on the fly, taking at most 20 to...
Yeah, okay. And for you, Shin, I'll admit, though, it does help my wandering brain. That's fair. I would also pay more attention, I guess, with the text always being there. But that's me, so I don't know. But, like, he's not doing text now. So, like, I'm like, what? Why? That's what I'm focused on, because I'm insane. So, I don't know.
30 seconds. However, I shortly realized that I am in fact not Cookie from Ned's Declassified School Survival Guide and
Nice.
ran into a big issue. You see, I made my players hate my rivals a little too much. Yeah. And you see, it was to the point that rivals were either hunted down too quickly or they leveled up too fast.
Oh, so you're telling me that way that you did it is bad. Okay. All right. That makes more sense to me now. You gave them too much power. Thank you.
And became unstoppable way too soon. You see, I had a hierarchy system in my world for my faction because
I thought you
every
could level up on the fly.
Oh wait.
Or sorry, tune. enemies
Tune.
on the
Oh yeah,
fly.
tune on the fly. True. If the text's always there, I'll get used to it and wander off again. If it shows up, then it's important. That gets my attention. I guess so. Yeah, that makes sense.
faction has a hierarchy in D&D. I mean,
But all of this is important. That's my thing. You know.
I've not been watching him. Is it white text with a black outline?
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Yes. Don't worry. There is an outline. Thank God.
I've learned to no longer take that for granted.
Yeah. Oh, as you shouldn't. Believe me, I know. Yeah. It's I've increased. If any of you have noticed in the thumbnails for Vampire, I did actually increase the strokes from, instead of 3 as an outline for all of the words on the thumbnail, to 6 points. So I'm making sure that it's much easier to see them.
just typical. Well, not everyone, but you know what I mean. And I made it where the NPCs were leveling up in the hierarchy by assigning them these rival points. However, I'm gonna be real, it was impossible to track this crap in the heat of the game, and some rivals just spiraled out of control quickly due to D&D's death spiral mechanics. And on top of that, because players knew rivals could get strong or super strong and super fast, they'd kill them as soon as they became a rival, essentially curtain calling all of my villains. And I'm gonna be real, I struggled at first juggling these complicated numbers and rules mid-session. Players sometimes got frustrated.
I thought you could tune on the fly.
Or they even got overly confident, and it kind of ruined the emotional impact I was going for. So I personally ditched the rigid numbers and just played it all by ear. I simplified it.
It might all be important, but it's not all going to be on the exam. You don't know that.
If an enemy downs someone, they're just stronger. If they escape afterwards, they're even stronger than that. And critically, I made sure rivals had limited but significant appearances, keeping players hungry for revenge. And I want to just note, this is kind of why I think the Ascending Allies and Rising Rival system is so cool. I didn't need any more mechanical bloat, but another DM may want it for their own games for consistency.
Whoa, okay. Your point, you ended your point with so, and then you said, okay.
So to illustrate the two extremes, again, I did two things. The first thing that I did was we have to tackle how enemies actually level up.
Sure,
All right,
yes.
For my rules light people, here's what I would do. I would track loosely. Trust your gut based on players' reactions like I did. So if your players are literally shitting bricks about the new enemy, lean into it and level them up more in the hierarchy. If they're not worried, maybe level them up a little bit less. Build rivals slowly and keep appearance.
I'm very confused on why would I want them to be less powerful if they're not worried about it? I don't understand how that helps with their effectiveness or being a rival.
Yeah, I suppose you really will make them a sleeper agent, or a sleeper threat rather. If you make them absolutely get steamrolled by the players.
If you want the gibbering fucking Uruk, sure.
Oh.
Maybe, but I've never seen a teacher's personal anecdote show up on the exam before. Hey man, it's all important, all right?
It's sparse but meaningful. The more invested players are, the less you have the rival physically appear, and the more you have his actions appear throughout the game.
Well, yeah. What? Yeah. Okay. I don't know. Okay.
So players could basically hear that this goblin just destroyed a farm that was really relevant to the players and their backstory. But their goblin isn't necessarily there. You'll have more instances of this in your game, the higher or more invested or engaged the players are into killing that rival. And when you have an enemy the players are less invested in, then you do the opposite, allowing them to get killed sooner or become a bigger bad even sooner. Here's the mechanic.
Okay, yeah, sure. That makes more sense. That's what you meant. I'm okay with that. Because if they don't give a shit about something, get them out of the way or make them give a shit about it. Yes, that's a better way to say it.
Approach. Clearly define each level up and possibly associate abilities, mechanics like legendary actions or resistances exclusive to certain ranks. Use clear stats increases like I mentioned before, like proficiency bonuses, hit points, and damage outputs. The second thing we need to address is how to keep your enemies alive.
Yeah, but I want to know more so. Okay, but like with the whole like actual mechanical stuff, I want to know how you have determined what you should do with that now. Are you still using the same way or not? You know, I want to know.
So I had a thing similar to Mordor where they would come back to life after being killed. However, in D&D, revivification isn't that common. So we need to come up with a story reason on why this was happening in the first place. The main thing you as a DM or whoever's interested in the system need to figure out is death. Why do people keep coming back? Or specifically, how come every time an enemy is reduced to 0 HP, they come back once more at least once? The second thing you need to figure out is how come whenever enemies down your PCs, they gain abilities and grow stronger? The third thing you need to figure out is how many times can an enemy come back?
Okay. You know, That is something that I could answer, but I just realized that's part of the exercise. So continue.
Here's how I answered each one. My players are in a setting called the Phoenix District. The district is empowered by a phoenix whose life essence has connected to pretty much.
I find it very funny that we're watching now footage from Assassin's Creed. When I talked about the whole Assassin's Creed 2 thing. Hey, nice.
Hey, look at that.
Wow.
All living souls within the realm. Though people feel the violent effects of dying, they are revived back shortly after.
Yo, wait, this is fuck, this was the Monster Hunter clone before Monster Hunter World came out. What the fuck was this called? I played it like once for like 10 minutes and then went, I'm done. What was, but it wasn't because it was bad. Oh shit, I need to know now. I'm sorry. Monster Hunter clone. Hold on, I can find this. No, shit, I know exactly. I owned it, and it was on my other computer for a while, and then that one died. But I don't. Fuck. All right, I'll research while we do this.
Forever losing a piece of themselves. The enemies, however, they had drank from a king's chalice, or the king's chalice, a magical artifact that gave them enhanced strength and speed, effectively turning them into vampiric super soldiers as they drank the king's blood from said chalice. In turn, whenever an individual was unconscious, the enemies could take advantage of their vulnerability and duplicate, not steal, their powers and defining traits. See, I mixed and matched this, but ultimately followed the Monolith route and played it by ear. Monolith is the people who made Shadow of War. Essentially, the more times you interacted with the rival, the higher chance they are.
Dauntless was the game.
I've heard of Dauntless.
Yeah, it was bigger before World came out. And I bought it and I played it and again, it wasn't bad. It was just like, it was new and in early access. And I played it for like 10 minutes and went, okay, maybe I'll play this again. And then I never touched it again. Sorry. Okay, my fucking mind goblins have been sated. They are no longer wawing.
To come back and hunt you down region to region. See, when my enemies died, I personally only let them come back maybe a max of once, maybe twice. Well, if they earned it and the last time they died wasn't too much of a satisfying conclusion. That is for the player or the enemy arc as rivals. So now, you see, I had ran the system for a while.
Okay, can I just say, you just go forward with your sentence. Like, I agree that, you know, having your pauses there and everything were fine for like getting me engaged again. So now you see, like, you've scripted this and everything, so I don't know, it just seems like it doesn't flow well
now, and I thought I was a big shot. Life was good, right? I thought of it all. My games were popping, and I thought I was some kind of badass who could finally stand next to some of the legendary DMs in Aurora. And you know what? So were my enemies. They were confident, they were cocky, and they thought that they were untouchable badasses. And if you know the saying, Billy Badass was a badass until someone else comes along to beat that ass. So, you see, rivals alone weren't really enough. Players started to fight fire.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay.
I have, you know what? I have no reason to doubt that that's what they say, I guess.
With fire. They wanted allies who could grow and evolve just like their enemies. They started recruiting NPCs and allies to join their side. And you know what else you guys can recruit? A like. Was that subtle enough? My editor told me that I should like ask people to like the video, so I'm just gonna like sit here.
Are you your editor?
Awkwardly for 10 seconds.
I bet he's his editor.
Probably run an ad until you like the video, so yeah. Go on. Go on. See, they like the video on Twitch. I said go on, motherfucker!
Alright. Okay, I just need a second.
So
it's nothing against him. It's fine. It's just, you know.
The players wanted allies, and now suddenly
I like the video.
Managing both sides became overwhelming. How could I balance the rise of allies, well, without overshadowing rivals? Well, I'm real. I kind of just couldn't. Sorry. Allies quickly outnumbered rivals. See, players started collecting NPCs like Pokemon, emotionally investing so much that it threatened to become almost NPC wars rather than players versus rivals. The solution? I introduced real risk. Allies can permanently die with no death saves. Suddenly, every...
Yeah. I mean,
What did he say?
so he made it so that NPCs don't get death saving throws, which is how it's supposed to be in D&D. Like, I know, again, don't get me wrong, if you don't play it that way, that's fine. I don't give a shit. But what I'm saying is, like, that was, like, in the game already, so you just didn't do that until then? Okay. Sure.
battle mattered. Every choice about deploying allies carried weight, and players began carefully strategizing as they were emotionally attached but cautious.
Okay.
For my rules late people, so allies, they evolved through...
What? I'm so... Okay. I'm sorry. I'm just getting more, like, the video itself is what's bothering me more so than, like, the idea. But okay, why did you include that? There was the, like, this, hold on. This, there was nothing, like, nothing came of it. This is just, you just went to the next scene.
Then yeah,
Like, thanks
Okay.
for padding it out for like 3 seconds. Okay.
Weird.
For my
Yeah,
rules...
literally 3 seconds. It was enough time. Is this using so many techniques to just make it so that people notice things so that they keep being engaged with the video? Is that what's happening?
Late people, so allies, they evolve through key story moments or player decisions instead of killing. Second part, you're gonna want to make their personalities as distinct as enemies.
Yeah, anytime you have NPCs that are going to be a part of the party in some way, that is something you want to do, yes. Also with growing via the story, not combat, also, yeah, sure. Just in general, because, like, I'm sorry, but the only reason why I have character sheets for some characters in Vampire is because that is the way they're going to be. I'm not making character sheets for every single fucking thing, because I can't. I cannot do that. I will not do that. In fact, most of the time, I'm playing it by ear in most of these encounters that these people are having. You know? Like, cool. Cool.
You're gonna want to ensure that you brutalize players when they die, like The Walking Dead, to force meaningful and emotional impacts.
I don't like the word force.
Yeah, it feels like he's cheapening his experiences.
Yeah. If it comes across and evokes that emotional response, great, good. If people don't give a shit, I'm not going to make it more brutal so they give a shit about the next person. I'm just going to keep telling you about when people die. And if you care, great.
This was Billy Enemy Face. He was beaten by his dad, and then the party trances them. And then this is Bobby Enemy Face. He was beaten by both his parents.
Make it visceral to tug at emotions. But also, allies might help out in more ways outside of combat than just in combat.
Yeah, I would hope so.
Dude, literally the entire thing that I loved about Yulon was how much he did outside of combat.
Right? Oh, yeah. That's fair. Everybody loved everything.
Except for that one combat where he was an absolute god.
Yeah.
So don't forget about that. For mechanical people, and this is what my players kind of preferred, allies can kind of gain abilities similarly to rivals, but only through deliberate player actions.
Sure.
Also, allow sending allies on missions, assassinations, or scouting, gaining new strengths, or possibly even dying in the attempts. And
Sure.
finally, tracking became its own beast. How did I keep all this organized without going crazy? Well, at first,
You took notes, I hope, and like kept them in maybe separate notebooks or something. One for allied stuff, one for, you know, villain stuff, or just different sections of your notebook, or I don't know, like.
It was messy. Names, abilities, and events were scattered everywhere. Almost impossible to keep coherent. It was a lot of
Okay.
work, but I mean, hey, it was fun at least, right? You see, my first attempts were chaos. Details were lost and villains were pretty much forgotten, and it was missed opportunities everywhere.
Right.
So I streamlined the entire process and made a clear template. Tiers, stolen abilities, how they died, and their visual traits reflecting those deaths. Everything was neatly tracked in OneNote, simply organized and effective. Also, I actually have a video of one.
Oh, you, like legitimately use the program OneNote. Okay. So you used a notebook to write it down. I don't know how OneNote works. Let me look at a screenshot of OneNote so that I can know what that's like. Hold on. It's a Microsoft project. Looks like program, I mean. Is it literally just a notebook?
I think so.
Yeah, it's a digital notebook where you can make multiple tabs and lists and pages. Okay. So you used a notebook digitally. Very cool, man. That's that's another way to make notes. Absolutely. Why?
Good on you for figuring that out.
I don't know if you know this, but man has figured out the use of paper from and taking notes from back in the day when we had the ability to carve things into stone. So good jobs so that we can organize, I guess.
On my channel when I cosplayed as like the dungeon master from the cartoon. I look
Cool.
awful, but the video is good. So go check out that video if you want to learn
Well,
how
you're biased, so
to plan effectively in OneNote. So for my narrative rules, like people, here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna keep minimal notes. Focus on character, motivations, and big moments. That's pretty much it. For my mechanical people,
I would keep more notes in a purely narrative approach, I'll be honest. Now to be fair, I haven't been keeping as good notes in Vampire as I should be, but a lot of it is up here, and a lot of it is recorded, so I do have a bit of an out, thankfully, that I can go and research by rewatching things. But that's my note taking in a way. But okay, yeah. I mean, those are the things that are probably important. I would hope there would be more, but yeah.
you're gonna want detailed logs of stats, ability stolens, specific interactions, and visual evolution for immersive impact.
Well, why wouldn't I want the visual evolutions and stuff for my narrative campaign though? Cause if they change like visibly, I want to like describe them properly in my minimal notes. Don't I? Or do I not?
And a quick tip, once a rival gets really strong, it's gonna be a nightmare to track all of their abilities. This happened with Lucky Fang and a couple of other people. I recommend when you get to that point, you just combine stolen abilities. So instead of having Divine Smite and Sneak Attack, you basically homebrew an ability where whenever he has advantage on an attack, he just combines both. And you just kind of adjust the damage numbers.
So is he describing allies or enemies?
Allies?
So it's just solo leveling. Like Isekai power swap.
Ah. Okay. I don't know. Maybe. But yes. Okay. Cool. Pausing in the middle of the sudden zoom and it made me unexpectedly terrified. I'm sorry, Shen. I'm sorry.
To make it fair, obviously. Then we got to the final part, the legality of everything.
What?
Yeah, I know you guys thought it was coming. I just did a little bit of research, and like honestly, in 10 minutes, I just realized that the Nemesis system is actually only patented for like software and video games. So like, D&D's not a video game.
Yeah, but also you can just take the ideas and utilize them and like call them something else, and as long as you're not using it exactly as is, you're fine. The patent is there, sure, but yeah, okay, whatever.
It's not software.
It's
software, and there's no like AI generated systems to determine things. We just roll dice, dude. Like
oh, thank you for this.
we just rolled this. Like that's it. So yeah, I mean, you can look up the patent. It's literally just for video games. And on top of that, like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, they like, I'm gonna be real, dog, they just stole the Nemesis system and just made it like 10 times worse because it's like, you know, you know who made that game. But yeah, so the cool thing is that you're actually able to use the Nemesis system, or more so the Rising Rival system that I've made in your D&D games, because a lot of this stuff is just basic D&D tips that you've probably heard from any
Yes! Whoa! You just put them all in a video. That's true. The only difference here is that you've now said, hey, make them stronger when they come back, which seems to be something that would make sense as just what happens anyway. But okay. Yeah, you're right. Good job. I'm glad you're self-aware.
How to make a cool villain video on the internet. This is just more so a concise video telling you exactly what I did for my own D&D game. So in conclusion, the rival and ally system transfer.
Oh. Did you pause it? Aiden? Oh. Hello? Aiden, did you mean to pause it, or are we good to keep going?
What? Am I back?
Oh, you're back. Oh, that's probably what happened. You lost connection. Ah.
He had concise up there, and it was SICE, and it's CISE.
Oh my god, really?
Uh-huh.
Hold on. Oh no.
Because a lot of this stuff is just basic D&D tips that you've probably heard from any how to make a cool villain video on the internet. This is just more so a
Ooh, okay. Nice. Very good. Very good. I love it. Anyway.
concise video telling you exactly what I did for my own D&D game.
I mean, this is concise in terms of not being an hour, so yeah.
So, on one hand, like I have some very heavy praise to give out.
Sure.
But on the other hand, like some for real shade.
Please.
So, and I can deliver both as one statement.
Ooh.
I think that this is a video that I got way more out of the title than the video.
Yeah, honestly, same.
Like,
absolutely.
Holy shit, the Nemesis system, like, you're fucking cooking, dude. That is a great idea. I'm going to absolutely steal it. I don't necessarily know if I think I agree with your methods.
Yeah, exactly. Like, there's nothing necessarily wrong with how he's done it. It's just that I don't know. It just seems so incredibly. I don't know.
Like I wouldn't raise the stats of an enemy by 5 each time they got defeated. and then have my players mysteriously not care about them, and then decide, oh, well, they weren't a threat anyway, I guess, and then just, like, write them out of the story. That whole, like, these events that definitely transpired are a little bit weird to me.
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, I don't necessarily know if I would agree with, like, I guess he was, like, power leveling his enemies of, like, oh, I'm
Yes.
going to have them show up once every, like, 2 sessions,
I don't
and
know.
then their stats are going to go up by 5 each fight.
Yeah. Well, so
Fuck!
this is my problem. This is my problem with that. It's he said that, and he never gave a clarifying statement of how he changed. He said
Yeah.
that that's how he started, and then after that he said it was too much, and then just never gave any specifics on how he's generally doing it now.
Do you know, like, how in the Nemesis system,
Yeah.
orcs change permanently? Like, they may lose a hand, right?
Yeah.
And they'll never have that hand back.
Yeah.
Or, like, an orc may lose the ability to speak.
Yeah.
So why wasn't he rolling out, like, these insane debuffs to go along with these insane buffs?
Sure.
To make a character that's, like, really unique and hopefully memorable.
Well, he's
Instead of trying to force an emotional impact.
Yeah, I was gonna say, he gave you vagaries and said you should do something like this, but he gave no examples of how he has done this. And it's like, yeah, I know that the Nemesis system exists, sure. I've played the game personally, yes. But
It's a good ass game.
it's a good ass game. Both of them are pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
But like I don't remember specifics about it necessarily about each individual orc that I might have had as a rival or not. I only remember that one video because it was fucking hilarious. But like, I would like to see examples be put into this video to give me more of how you did it so that I could see those examples and maybe iterate off them or, not use them because I was dissuaded by them. Like it's just, I don't know. You have told me so many things that I have heard in every single other video about making good villains. The only difference here is you've said use it like they did in the video game. Do it like that. And I would go, yes, that is a new idea in my head. Yes. I had not thought of it in that way.
It has changed TTRPGs forever.
No. His MMO TTRPG world has changed TTRPGs forever. But to be fair, yes, the idea has changed my view of TTRPGs a little bit forever, I guess, until I forget about it, I suppose. But I just like you said, it's that one line of
I don't know. See, I've got these handily installed easy slide goalposts.
True. And no, to answer your question, Timothy, did Boo say he liked the video when he brought it to Discord? No, he said it was an interesting thing. And I agree that the idea is interesting. The idea of the Nemesis system is interesting. The video itself is by the numbers. The only interesting thing is thinking about the Nemesis system again. That's the rest of it is just, I've heard this all before, and he admits that we've all heard this before. It's just packaged in a different way, which is YouTube D&D content creation a lot of the time. Don't get me wrong, there's nothing wrong with you making the same kind of video, saying it in your way, but I'm sorry, I don't know. This way is not sparking anything but that one thought of, oh, the Nemesis system was cool. I could use that. That's it. Also, we were talking about white text with a black outline, and he put it here with no black outline. And it makes me very upset. Anyway. Okay.
So, in conclusion, the Rival and Ally system transformed my D&D games, making each session emotional, strategic, and memorable.
Yeah, because you force the emotion, I guess. So, cool. I'm glad.
So, whether you prefer narrative simplicity or mechanical depth, this system can revolutionize your game too. Here's some things I didn't include in this video, but if you want me to make a second video, comment Rival in the chat. So, there's Fortress and base building, assassination contracts and spies, player death and revive mechanics like Hades, raids and large-scale warfare, battlefield actions to make boss fights epic, and personality creation and story building for enemies.
Okay. So, like, yeah. Any of these would have been more interesting, I guess. So I'm glad you might have made a second video that has all of this. I guess. Cool.
But hey, listen up, y'all. If you ever create a villain as hated as Emperor Zhao or Lucky Fang, prepare yourself. Your players
You can
might
just say names, and tell me that they were hated, I guess. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
never forgive that enemy, but trust me, they're never gonna forget them either.
True. Okay. Yeah, okay, it must be
Dang.
that as the I stole the Nemesis system and make insane D&D villains legally again. That must be the follow-up video, I guess. I don't know. Okay. Well, that was a video.
One of the videos of all time.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. I I was really hoping that I would get a little bit more out of it. But unfortunately, it really just boiled down to run villains, make them stronger when they escape, give them abilities that your players had, I guess. Which, I guess, I don't know. Sure. If you want to make it so that that's how it works, that's fine. I don't see a problem with that. I don't know. I would rather have them be more unique in the sense of not stealing the abilities, but getting newer ones for themselves that are unique to them as a character. Because they are, let's say it's a rival that is a rival to the paladin, okay? And one of the things that they gain is the ability to profane against the god of that paladin, so that it makes it so that that paladin is more affected by this rival, right? They get things that are specifically towards their rivals. So profaning the name of the god then makes it so that they get it's easier for them to hit the paladin, or makes it so that their healing is less affected. Something that makes it so that it is uniquely a bad thing for that character, right? Because they're supposed to be the rival. I assume of the whole party, but making it more individualized might be interesting.
Or you could even have it as extreme as like, because they're blessed by a dark power, you could have like a glare coming off of them that exists only for the paladin. So the
Yeah.
paladin takes like a -3 to hit.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, just something to make it so that it is that way.
This would also be a fantastic change to roll out if you have a player getting overtuned and you want to make them more reliant upon the party.
True. Very true. Yes. I just, you can do it in whatever way you want. I'm thinking of more the instead of it being that copy shit, I am Ditto now. I am just more powerful, and I am Ditto now. Not entirely, but you get what I mean. I'm Taskmaster, I guess.
Yeah, no, I absolutely agree.
Right? Like, it's just do something that's more original to that character is what I would say. Papa got annoyed. First off, I'm not your dad. And second, I I don't it's I don't know what it's not annoyance, it's just frustration, really. Because I was expecting more, I guess. But and like Aiden said, it's the title of the video really was the thing. That was kind of it. Like, inside there was like nothing to grasp onto except for editing and the one example of something that we immediately went uh but there was nothing really else for me to go for. So it made me think of Dauntless again, I guess. That was something. Anyway, I'm Ditto now. There you go. I mean, I'm tempted to look at that other video because it's the same thing, but it says again. That's what it's 17 minutes and 54 seconds. And I'm just like, what did you do? I don't understand. What could possibly be added on here? Oh, I'm very tempted, I'll be honest. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to do it tonight. It might be a future video because, like, I don't know. I don't know what this is. I don't know what you could gain more from a second video about the topic, except for what he's talking about in the end of this video, which is just a bunch of things that are tangentially related to the topic, I guess. Assassins and spies and fortresses and building, and it's like, yeah, I don't see how that's related to the Nemesis system. Quote unquote. It's related to what you've created, I guess, somehow, because you mentioned it. So who knows? But anyway. All right. That's the videos for tonight, everybody. Thank you for joining us for those. I've seen worse editing. Oh yeah, sure. Absolutely. Worse editing has absolutely been in worse things. This was not a case of bad editing. This was a case of baffling editing on my part. So, but yeah, I will, of course, invite my lovely co-host to depart if he should so choose.
And I shall do so. Have a good week, everyone. Efficient stream tonight, I guess.
I guess so, yeah. It flew by, but we did go for 2 hours still. So, but yeah, I guess I will see you later.
I'll see you guys next week.
Bye-bye. All right, I'm going to go into comments, and then I'll do some shilling. There's some new stuff to shill, everybody. Whoa! New stuff to shill. I'll shill it in a bit. Okay. So, where is my thing? There it is. All right, we got a couple of comments here. Now, I don't know what it is, and someone can tell me what's going on here. But when comments come through, oh shit, I forgot one more comment. Give me a second. But when comments come through, sometimes they just don't show up for me until I sort by new, and they are not tied to anything specifically. I'll show you what I mean actually before I get that other thing. But you see how this says published sort by newest? I had to take off every other filter because it wouldn't show Unit Rico's comment. And I don't know why. So if anybody's comment ever gets hidden, it's either that YouTube itself is like, no, or it's just not allowing me to see it for no reason. I don't know why that is. So please, if you do leave a comment, know that I am not, like, looking past it or not reading it. That is not my intention at all. Okay. So, 1 second. I've got to get here to get to this comment because it was left on Spotify. There it is. All right. Can I... how do I get this as something that I can show here? Oh, I know what I'll do. 1 second. 1 second. Okay. So, I do get notified of comments on our stuff through Spotify. At least I was this time around. If it's ever happened in the past, I have not been notified. But, this one has. So, let me bring this one up as well. I'm going to need to make a bookmark on this as well in the future now, which is fine. But let me just, where is my window capture? Spot, com. Okay. Well, all right. So, yeah, I do get, comments through Spotify, so if you do leave a comment there, hey, I'll read it on the show. So, there you go, Spotify listeners, viewers, whatever. You can also leave comments for the show. This one comes from Crimson Rose. Hello. You are, it's interesting that you're leaving one here instead. I see that, you know, you were also thinking of the experiment, eh? So, after listening to this episode again, it sounds like Garibay thinks Wizards of the Coast is some kind of small underdog standing up against big OSR and big indie. Another fundamental misunderstanding of reality that forms the foundation to his tower of insanity. Anyway, I thought I'd post a comment here on Spotify to see what happens. Have a good day, human. Thank you. Thank you for posting it. Been a while since I've seen a comment that's not in dark mode. Yeah, this one, I can't put this page into dark mode. And if I did, I think it would, it would make it so that I couldn't read it, but I don't know. But this is how I see comments in the Spotify stuff. So if you do leave comments, hey, please do. Would love to see them. Love to read them. Love to blind our good viewers over here on YouTube, as well as you, I guess, because now I post these as video podcasts on Spotify and such. Anyway, moving on, we have more comments, that being one from Timothy as well on last week, saying, hello, bros. Hello. Happy Halloween. Still working on lore. Oh boy, Garibay. Time to be scared. Let's see how long my brain lasts. Have a nice day. Edit. Almost at the end of the first Garibay video. Ah! Ahem. Okay, I feel better. Edit 2. I had to tap out midway through video 2 after the if D&D is everything, then you can play anything part, but I still lived, I think. Great show as always. Thank you, and thank you for the comment. Yeah, Garibingo one's good stuff. Makes you question reality, eh? Anyway. Unit Rico also comments, you harm humanity by playing games other than D&D. God, yet another all-time banger by our Lord and Savior. He truly does not disappoint. Hell yeah, Garibay, send those non-D&D players to the fuck... Hold on. Hell yeah, Garibay, send those non-D&D players, playing fuckers, to The Hague. Oh, God. I also find it very funny that we're 1.5 years on from the release of the Lego D&D set, and, well, that was it. No more releases. Hell, if I'm not mistaken, sets proposed in the Ideas program are supposed to be one-offs instead of spawning entire lines and themes. Yes, I believe you are correct about that. Yeah, the Lego D&D set was, and I don't know if he even talks about it anymore currently. Those were technically nearer to the time of the 1 year, or half a year had gone by, I guess. But I bet he doesn't talk about it much anymore. Though he does consider it a grand achievement that we can apparently move on from. So, who knows? But regardless, thank you for the comments. I appreciate you, of course. All right. So, that's it for comments. Let's move on to the shilling of our stuff. Hey, whoa, do you like stuff? I also like stuff. Well, guess what? You can buy things and stuff. Wow. You don't have to, of course, because it's not your obligation to, but here it is in our website, our lovely website. You can visit it, in fact, in our description here, the link itself, and go to the Support Us Further page, and you can look at all the stuff that I'm going to talk about, and maybe even visit it. Who knows? You can have a look at our lovely Patreon. We do have that, and a Ko-Fi here, both of them being ways that you could become a table flipper, if you wish to. Not an obligation, of course. $1 or more, and you can become a table flipper and get access to early access to things when I do them in a early access format, of course, as well as other things like the Discord server for our table flippers specifically. That being said, a big thank you goes out to Steely, Draco Kraken, and Rick, aka Rico, for being at tier 4 for so long. Thank you so very, very, very much. We appreciate you immensely. And of course, a thank you goes out to Crimson Rose. Thank you. And a thank you goes out to our tier 1 contributor. Again, little as $1 a month if you wish to join. Moving on, we have our fourth wall shop that has our dice, as well as other things. In fact, I've added a few more things. Let me just refresh this to make sure. We have our keychains that you could buy the set of using the Como Pro? No, the promo code. That's the word. Crew keys. To get all of them for 20% off if you buy all 3 at once. As well as, I added a couple of things. So we have the coasters, we have the dice, we have the mug, we have the mouse pad, we have, oh, I thought I added more. We have the notebook. Whoa, look at this. Look, it's a notebook with all of our faces on it. Whoa, look at this. You can write notes with our faces on it. That's crazy. It's for all your note-taking needs. Enjoy the side profiles of the crew, waiting and watching for your notes on whatever you might be working on. Whoa! It's $20 because it's a notebook. This is one of those. Have you seen these kinds of notebooks? I've seen them. They exist. Apparently, we could put our faces on them, so I did. If you don't want it, that's fine. Don't get it. I don't give a shit. That's fine. I just wanted to get a notebook. So yeah, that's a notebook right there. Hell yeah. Go buy a notebook, maybe. Continuing on. You can donate to our PayPal directly if you wish to. We're also affiliated with Humble Bundle. Humble Bundle is a great site. If you use the link in our description, we get a bit of a kickback if you buy anything through Humble Bundle. In fact, right now there is Pathfinder Infinite, which is a bunch of stuff for Roll20, it looks like. Hey, there you go. There's also a few other if you're into Critical Role, there's a comic collection there for you. There's a bunch of things, in fact, if you wish to look into it. Go right for it. Up to you, of course. Like I said, anything you buy through our link will give us a little bit of a kickback. And so, last but not least, of course, we're also affiliated through DriveThruRPG Fiction Comics and Cards. If you go into the link in our description, which is for DriveThruRPG, you can go and buy stuff. And within 15 days of using that link to buy something, you will also give us a bit of a kickback. So, look, go buy Fatso Inc. I don't know what this is, but that's hilarious. It's an employee handbook even. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. Plan 9 from Outer Space, the RPG. No fucking way. That's hilarious. What the fuck is this? It's $5 right now. Okay. That's crazy. I don't know what Mithril. Oh, okay. TSRPG system. I don't know what that is. I've never looked into that. That's hilarious. Anyway, the other links are on our website. All of them are that same way. If you use the link and buy something within 15 days, you will give us a bit of a kickback. But regardless, that is all of the things. Go and check them out if you wish to. I'm not your dad. I can't tell you what to do. But it would make me happy, I guess, if you at least looked. Otherwise, do the free things of keeping and watching, and keeping and subscribing, and keeping liking the videos and such, right? Obviously. That's all free, and that does help us a little bit. So, do so if you wish. Anyway. Yes, good night, everybody. Thank you. I see. We appreciate you all, of course, and we'll see you next week for more of the show. Also, if you don't know, hey, Vampire, the newest episode, session 14, is out. So go and watch it, because we're leading up to more things. And I like that game, so I want other people to watch it, because it's good. Yeah. Link in the description, I think, for the podcast. I think is the playlist in the description. I don't actually know. I should do that. Anyway, thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next week. Goodbye. Bye bye. Goodbye. Bye.